Basically, as well, when you do this, when you register it, as stated, because it is stated, you agree to abide by their rules. MOT certificate, road tax, and the fuel levy tax as well. You agree to this. This is what you agree to because it's part of the deal. And then you register it to another corporation. Please remember this. Please remember this in future. When you register something, anything, you give up ownership of it. Your house, your car, your children, whatever it is, you give up ownership of it. I know you shouldn't own your children, and you don't, but your children are your children. And no one has the right to take that child away from you. No one. You get a certificate of title, and it's worthless. It's not worth the paper it's written on. Fixed penalty notices. So why are there so many fixed penalty notices? You get a fine for filling your bin up too much, or putting it out on the wrong day, or sticking it in the wrong position. Speed cameras, sworn documents. Well, what are these notices in the real world? They've been issued by corporations. And the corporations are dreaming up more and more reasons for penalising you. Penalised by the way of forfeit. Something surrendered subject to surrender as punishment for a breach of contract. These are called adhesion contracts. An adhesion contract is a type of contract that is legal and binding agreement that someone writes, makes it their, they basically do as they please. They've got all the bargaining power, they attach it to you, and it's to their advantage. A notice is not a bill. A notice is not a demand. If you went to a restaurant and the waiter come up and said, that's £60 for your meal and I serve you notice, what would you do? Pay or ask for a bill? Well, you'd pay then, obviously. You ask for a bill. Have you ever thought about actually asking the council, can I have a bill please for my council tax? Because you've never actually sent me one. This is simply a tool of revenue collection. And the true reason this is being forced upon you is because your person is simply to maintain the illusion that they have control over your life, your fortune, and your freedom. Because your fear and their ability to take from you something you deem to be valuable. And that is money. Yeah? Do we all believe money is valuable? We all use it every day, don't we? Yeah? And we all believe it's got some worth. These pieces of papers and coin has some worth. Because you can take it somewhere and someone will give you services for it. I shouldn't have said it that way, should I? You can buy things for it or you can trade it wherever. You believe it's valuable. But have you ever asked yourself this? Have you ever asked this? One, it's all in capitals, so it's again the fictional world, but have you ever asked? £20 of what? It's true though, isn't it? Of what? Go and ask the Bank of England, you'll get kicked out. It happened to a friend of mine. Serious. This is the real truth. You're the currency, not money. You are. Because without you, this country grinds to a halt. Because the principal workforce of any machine or any corporation or any company are slaves. And they have to give you something to believe in so you will do that work and you will not question. And to make it valuable, they're going to stiff you with as many fines that are make-believe to make you give over that worthless piece of paper to another corporation just so you believe it's real. No? This is what I entered into. Some of you might know what I'd done. A friend of mine, Robin, who sat in the audience, gave me some information once. And funny enough, another gentleman who sat in the audience gave me the same information. And I looked at it, and it's called Lawful Rebellion. It's actually wrote in Magna Carta 1215. It's Article 61. Now, I know a lot about Magna Carta now, and I know that Magna Carta certainly wasn't wrote for us. And we can't use it. We can't use it. But we can use the method of lawful rebellion, because lawful rebellion says, and what Article 61 actually says, it says lawfully hinder, and it says you must never ever use violence. We can't sort this out with violence, because if we sort this out with violence, violence will always ensue. We have to do this peacefully. And the way we do it peacefully is learning the rules of the game. So when these people come to us, not only, you've got to understand this, there's people out there who are working in all walks of these corporations who know there's something very wrong. They don't know what it is. They're trying to do something about it. And they can't do something about it until they have the knowledge to be able to do something. And we need to give these people that knowledge. Every single time you write to the tax office and you tell them, I'm not paying because, what do you want me to pay with? What's it worth? Ask the tax office what they want you to pay. And say to them, what's it worth? You want me to give you a worthless piece of paper? The tax office, these people need to be educated. They need to learn this. The police, the courts, the judges, the politicians. There's politicians down there who don't even know about this. So what we do is, whenever you're stopped by one of these individuals, ask them this: am I obliged to ask you your questions? Because they won't know what the word obliged means. They won't know what it means. And it's a choice. It's a choice. And then ask them, under what authority and under what law are you acting? The reason being is because if they say to you, it's under this law, and then they suddenly say, and that you prove it's a statute, an act of parliament, that says it in itself, an act. Parliament, that's all it is. It's theatre, it's an act. Shakespeare said it, the world's a stage, and we're all acting. It's absolutely true. But when you say to these people, you can actually say this, and this is absolute facts, because I'm just about to do this to the Chief Constable of Devon and Cornwall Police. Failure to differentiate between a statute and a law is gross negligence that's equivalent to the common law crime of fraud. They're committing fraud. They've committed fraud on you from the day you were born. This applies to anyone who is trying to enforce these statutes. You are a man or a woman. You are not a person. You are not a person. The legal world is the same as your person. It is a fiction. It's an illusion. It is not real. You just believe it is because you've been duped. And they've made it so bloody complicated. But it's not complicated because it doesn't exist. It's not real. The corporate employees must get a man or a woman to represent the person before a contract can be formed. That's absolutely true. They will ask you your name, they'll ask you your address. When they get your address, they've got joinder. Because there could be 100,000 John Harrises in England. They need that address to get joinder, so they can prove who you are. The second you do that, the human being has said, yes, I'm the person. Remember, there is no justice in this country. And there isn't any justice in this country. I see it daily. I have people contact me. I hear the most sad stories. I know a lady sat in the audience, who is, I know that her story is incredibly sad about her dad. And I've listened to it, and I want to help her, and I can't help her. Not at this moment. I have a way of doing it, though. There is no justice. You will only ever receive summary judgment. They just want to extract money from you, because they want you to still believe that this stuff's real. For every court, even the highest court in the land is a profit-making corporation, and it